Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Yo, y'all like the content I've been dropping, the direction that my channel was headed in. I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody else you think may benefit from them, alright? Now, today's topic is going to be called MaChiAVeLLiAN MaXiMs. Okay, so if y'all don't know anything about Machiavelli, his first name is Niccolo. He was born in the 3rd of May, 1469, and died in 21st of June, 1527 in Florence, Italy. All right, and he was an Italian diplomat, an author, philosopher, and historian who lived during the Renaissance. And he's most famous for The Prince, which was a book that was published in 1532. And like the main key takeaway that you can let's say have from Machiavelli's works is that he basically proposed that a moral behavior like deceit and murder was normal and effective in politics, and The Prince is like a guide on how a king can maintain a strong empire. So that's like the wording that I took from wikipedia.com, and of course I read The Prince some years ago, and it really does give you a lot of insight into politics about how you need to be ruthless but counter that with a likable personality in order to truly maintain power over a kingdom. And of course the word maxim is a short, pithy statement that expresses a general truth or rule of conduct. Okay, so hence the title MaChiAVeLLiAN MaXiMs. And I got this information from the website called Eliminable Men. So for all my guys who are thinkers, you know, you really like thought-provoking content, or you like reading, I would definitely recommend this website. Once again, it's Eliminable Men. And he's made a bunch of different articles and gone into depth about his opinion on, let's say, female nature, the dynamic between the sexes, as well as other topics like how you can self-actualize and the current plights that men are facing in today's society. So in MaChiAVeLLiAN MaXiMs, I think he has parts 1 through 4, and I just took some of the key maxims that really caught my eye from part 1. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So you got one right here that says, if an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance needs not be feared. So if you think about being, let's say, a prince who is rising to the heights of power within your kingdom, it would make sense that this maxim would really be effective. If you're going to, let's say, attack someone, you need to do it in a way where they are so destabilized that they have no chance of really being able to strike back at you. Alright, so you got another one. Beauty oft conceals bad intentions. So here you have the halo effect. Like if you think about every single time that there has been a beautiful woman involved in a setup, the person who wound up being the victim fell for the tactics of the beautiful woman, hook, line, and sinker, because attractiveness tends to disarm our defenses. You know what I mean? Imagine a beautiful girl coming up to approach you and saying she has a flat tire. You're automatically going to be thinking about her sexuality, how pretty she is, and you really might start walking into a trap that's been set by her. You know, you go to help with the tire, and here come 2 dudes coming to jump you and steal your car or whatever. Like, it's real easy to set somebody up if you think about beauty, because it does conceal bad intentions, right? All right, so you got number 2 or 3. Be magnanimous to friends, civil to strangers, and ruthless to foes. Furthermore, know who's who. So if you guys ever heard that saying, keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer, I think that really rings true with this maxim right here. All right. You also have another one here, number 4, that says narcissism is anti-fragile in the sense it makes no distinction between love and hate, only attention and inattention. So in the world we're living in right now, if you think about how everybody is so plugged into social media, it's rare that people even get validation from their own selves. They're on an endless quest to be seen and to do something more, provocative than the last content creator in order to draw a bunch of eyes to them, because there is no distinction between love and hate. It's either, hey, you're paying me attention and feeding my large ego, or you're not paying me attention and I'm going to do whatever I can to get it. Alright, number 5, always appeal to incentive, never to mercy. So, think about if you had a kid and you wanted him to clean the room. It would make sense that if you ask your kid, please, can you please clean your room? The kid already is in the upper hand. He already has the upper hand. And he may dangle the fact that he's not going to clean the room over your head. Or he'll minimize the amount of work he does because he understands that you're already in a pity position. You're already begging and asking versus appealing to the incentive where you maybe say, hey, you clean your room to the standard that I've set and you can get whatever the child would jump for, whether it be ice cream or money so that the kid can go shopping. It's all about knowing how to incentivize people versus their mercy. You know what I mean? I need to borrow money from a friend, which of course in my personality that's probably rarely gonna happen, but let's say I was in a situation where I needed to. I would more make it a quid pro quo type deal than I would be over here begging this person to loan me the money. Alright, number 6. The encroacher targets your popularity in an attempt to siphon it through association. This is something that I've definitely seen quite often, even with my wife. She's a very social person, has a bunch of contacts, and the fact that she owns her own hair salon, many people, have her number and reach out to her so that they can get their hair done. But what I realized with some of the people that she's brought around before is that, they do a big, it's like a big agenda. I can tell it from a mile away that they always feel the need to, hang with her and make it seem like they have the same amount of contacts, and they use her as a launch pad to appear as if they have social status. Or you've seen this before, you got a guy who is real popular or the boss of a company, and then everybody comes and kisses ass and does everything they can to get close to him in an attempt to basically get that social prestige. Number 7, we're all players in a game. You're a player or a piece on the board. You move or you're moved. You play the game or the game plays you. I find this one to be a very powerful one because any concept or in any context that you want to use, there is a game that's always going on, whether you decide that you want to be a part of it or not. So take the dating game or being in a relationship. You're either in the powerful position or you're in the submissive position. You're in the dominant or a submissive position. There is no way for you to, let's say, ignore that dynamic and it not be a role that's tasked to you. So case in point, I'm not a dominant position. Okay, well then you're automatically in the submissive one. Well, no, I'm not submissive either. That's not possible. If anybody is to analyze your relationship from top to bottom, they're going to be able to label you as one or the other, whether you agree to it or not. Alright, number 8. Never hesitate to work on your verbal dexterity, vocabulary, and comprehension. Debate lots with people who don't matter. Strong articulation is a form of soft power. So if I think about that, it goes without saying that if you're able to use communication effectively, you will have way better results than someone who struggles in that regard. So reading has been something that really helps me here, because by plunging my mind into so many different books that all revolve around typically nonfiction and self-improvement, just the fact that I've read thousands of pages every year, that is going to add to my ability to not only speak clearly and effectively, but also how to tie together concepts and sway people's thinking just on my ability to convey a message, right? Think about also an interview. Different candidates that all have their resume all on point. The person who's doing the hiring can't really make a distinction between who's who, and they are the ones who ultimately have to pick the best fit for the job. But let's say you have somebody who is making very compelling cases with their ability to speak. They're also going to stand out from the other ones who maybe seem nervous or are not really able to draw in an audience with the way that they talk. And then last but not least, you have stand-up comedy, which is also a very good example of this. This is a soft power, the ability to control an entire room and also be able to gauge the temperature of that crowd to determine what jokes are suitable and which will cause offense. You know, like, I always like stand-up comedians because they're typically very intelligent and they're able to tell the truth in a way that it makes people laugh. So it's like they're planting seeds of auto-suggestion while entertaining you at the same time. And of course, that takes brilliance. Number 9, where bullying fails, charm succeeds. And where charm fails, bullying succeeds. One should substitute in hard power when soft power fails and vice versa. I think it goes without saying that you have different tactics that you want to use, and if one is not effective, it would make sense to utilize the other, right? So if I can't directly use brute force or bullying you into doing something, maybe I can charm you into doing it. Number 10, do not defend against your attackers, attack them. Justification is a MaCiAVeLLiAN fallacy. Don't justify, stipulate. So this kind of reminds me of that old saying that the best defense is a good offense. You know, if you think about somebody who's like trying to heckle you, let's say they're talking about your shoes. You don't defend your shoes and say, hey man, these are good shoes. Hey, I bought them. Hey, I like them. This is my style. Well, you know, you don't go that way. They talk about your shoes, you immediately talk about their face. You know, like you need to fight fire with fire in the case of somebody, let's say, trying to attack you. Just like if somebody comes up and takes a swing at me, I'm not going to be thinking about the best way to parry his punch, the best way to, you know, block his punch. I'm going to think about slipping or dodging it and immediately hitting him back. You fight with offense, not with defense, right? Number 11, justification can only exist in respectful exchanges. When you are disliked, justifications are deemed excuses, your guilt predetermined. So if you think about this, it really makes sense because, like, if you justify yourself with, let's say, your spouse, right? You show up late, your spouse is upset. You justify it by saying, hey, you know, somebody rear-ended me on the way here, and you should know that. It's okay if you're mad that I didn't show up on time, but just know that there was a reason. Like, this is a respectful exchange where the wife can, or the husband, if you're a woman, can understand where you're coming from, so your justification doesn't come off like weakness or as an excuse. It's really making sense. But if a person does not like you and you try to justify yourself, all they're going to do is, in their mind, dislike you more, because they already assume that you're a guilty party due to the fact that they don't like you. So it's pointless to even go about justifying yourself when someone dislikes you. Number 12, people are like stocks. Acquire assets, avoid and drop liabilities, and ignore market rumors. Acquire insider info wherever possible. I truly agree with this one, right? And it makes total sense because you have that other saying that's like, you know, you're the average of the people that you spend the most time around, the 5 people that you're constantly in the vicinity of, right? So yeah, I want to be around people who are high quality. Just like my portfolio, I don't want to have a stock that's tanking my entire investments. I'd rather have only strong performing assets that will over time grow my portfolio so that I can capitalize off of those things that I put money into, versus, you know, having stuff that's overall just having my account on a minus the whole time. And it's the same thing with people. Not many people are of high quality. Or put it like this: if you're a person who is always trying to level up and self-actualize, and you surround yourself with people who are not, it will be hard for you to actually maintain momentum, because you will be around other people that are pulling you down with their negative energy. All right, number 13. The battle of the sexes is the only war where crushing the opposition isn't victory. No, a man must avoid checkmate and stalemate by continuously putting his woman in check. This, and only this, is victory for the union. I mean, could it be said more beautifully? The war between the sexes is literally the only case where a man cannot just obliterate his competition or his enemy, so to speak. In the war with the sexes, it's all about this constant push-pull between a feminine woman who has masculine capabilities and a masculine man who has feminine capabilities. So it's all about like chaos and order, if you ask me. And it's never going to be just straight smooth sailing, because men and women are inherently different, and we have qualities of the other that are embedded into us, hardwired into who we are. And not to mention that, but you also have things that happen in your childhood where you are subconsciously going to be looking for your anima if you're a man, or your animus if you're a woman, which basically means you're looking for the masculine characteristics that are inside of you as a woman in the man that you choose. Just like if you're a man, it's vice versa. So it doesn't make sense that you'll ever be able to really win the gender war. The war of the sexes is always going to go on as long as men and women are living in the same environment and interacting with each other on a day-to-day basis. It's almost like a covert operation, and the only way that you could really succeed is by constantly checking a woman. It's a game that will go on forever. And last but not least, if you have a firm grip on MaCiAVeLlianism, it will be difficult for women to exploit you. On the flip, they'll be harder to love too. And I must say, I really want to elaborate on this point, because ever since I've taken the proverbial red pill and understood female nature for what it is, I understand that as a man, I would never truly be loved by a woman. Not in the way that men think that women should or do love us. Okay? Anybody who ever seen my other videos, I've referenced Brifault's law. And the fact of it is that women are programmed in a way to get resources as well as genes from the most dominant male that they can attract. You're only loved on the condition that you're actually providing something for that woman. So it's conditional, and it will never be unconditional. At best, your mom loves you unconditionally, right? But it's never going to be in the way that other women do, because of course you're not having a sexual or intimate relationship with your mom, so to speak. You can't procreate with your mom and create your own family. So yeah, unless you want some other shit. But real talk, once you understand kind of Machiavellianism, you know that women are naturally Machiavellian. So, and then you think about like the MGTOW movement and all the other stuff that dating coaches and all the people on YouTube have exposed over the last years before YouTube did their purge. If you were lucky enough to catch those gems of wisdom, then you understand that there's always going to be a void in your life if you have not come to grips with the fact that women don't really love men per se. They love the way you make them feel. It's all about what you do for them. It's not really that they love you for who you are. I know that sounds very cold, but I know for me personally, coming to terms with that and really internalizing it, it has really helped me to understand the dynamic. And whenever I have friends of mine who, let's say, fail in their relationship or go get a divorce, it seems like they're the ones who are still trying to figure out what happened or why, or it just didn't work out. But they don't have like a thorough understanding on female nature. So it's like, even if they get into another relationship, they're still going to be set up for a failure, because this maxim right here is just priceless. Once you understand Machiavellianism, women won't be able to manipulate you as much, but you'll also have a harder time falling in love with them, because it's basically what you're doing is understanding what's going on, but you're going to turn a blind eye and hope that you'll be different, or the case with you will be special. And if you're a true Machiavellian person, you'll never lay down your sword, if you guys get my drift. So that's my topic for today. You know what I mean? Just talking about Machiavellian maxims. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler at you on the next one.